everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time doing another Halloween film review, and this one is on the 2006 film The Woods. Now, as you know, The Woods is meant to be a 2006 supernatural horror film that was directed by Lucky McKee, as well as having Bruce Campbell, as well as Pacifica Clarkson and Angus Burker in the film. Now, the premise of the film is meant to take place in 1965. We see how a young, rebellious, and kind of like antisocial kid known as Heather is sent to boarding school known as Fairburn Academy, which is in the middle of the woods. We kind of see how her sort of arrogant but selfish mum Alice wants to send her there with a passion, and you can kind of tell her father Joe only goes along with this to kind of keep the situation under control. And of course we see how Heather is kind of met by the headmistress, and of course we kind of see how over time Alice does make a few friends, and we see how she's even bullied by the classmate Samantha for her red hair. And we see how over time strange things start to happen at the school, and it kind of becomes clear that Heather kind of puts the pieces together and has to find a way to sort of stop whatever's going on and pretty much use her wits as well as her kind of cunning to sort of save the girls at the girls' school. Now, I would say what the film tries to do is go for this old 60s kind of novel horror story, where we kind of see how a young rebellious girl is sent to a kind of boarding school, and in my opinion, boarding schools are usually like the nuclear option when parents send their kids there if they misbehave too much, or when a parent sends a kid there because they don't want to put up with them any longer. And I think that was the point of Heather's character. You can kind of tell she does act the way she does because of her mum, and you can tell the dad Joe does try to kind of keep the situation under control. And I think for the most part we see kind of how the film ropes in this kind of big but kind of giant reveal about these sort of stories about the witches. And I think for the most part I do think what the film gets well at, it knows how to kind of go with the kind of haunted kind of boarding school story. And I think for the most part I would say is that when you've got kind of like the teachers at the school, there is something off at them you are going to notice at the start. How they act all weird, how they kind of act a little off-putting. And I think that was the point of their characters. And I kind of feel having Samantha help at the end doesn't really fit her character. I kind of feel you could have had it been like Heather's new friend Marcy, who's kind of meant to be meek but timid, and have Samantha kind of be amazed and if not impressed by Heather's actions at the end of the film. This would have given her a lot more newfound respect. And I kind of feel having Anne sort of be at the sidelines never really fit her character. If they did replace her with Samantha, this would have given her a bit more newfound respect. And I think for the most part, what the film does get well at is keeping that old 1960s nostalgia, back when there wasn't tablets, iPhones, computer games, and all that. And you can kind of tell back in the 60s people had to make do with what they had, and had to make do with what they got. And I think the ending does cop out a little too much, but not badly. So I think for the most part, The Woods lit its lighter, set the woods on fire, and gave an okayish kind of film. So I think it deserves a thumbs in the middle. Kind of alright, but kind of okay. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.